Happy and welcome to the Circle of Heka. I'm Lady Marcus. So it's one of those driving videos again. And we're talking about tools. Not being able to do certain spells, not being able to do witchcraft in general without this tool or that tool. Now, I know when you're watching YouTube videos and you see lots of people who are on YouTube, and many of them are doing this sort of thing, practicing witchcraft for many, many years. And over that span, they have amassed quite a few tools. And some of them can be quite impressive. Now, the popular trap that you can get into is when you start out, you're looking at all these wonderful tools and exquisite wands or ornate athames, and you think, gosh, I can't afford that. How am I supposed to practice witchcraft if I can't afford a cauldron or an athame or a wand or whatever pretty trinket someone is showing on their YouTube videos. Now, there's nothing wrong with showing what you have, showing your altar setup and various things that you may have gotten. But you just have to remember that these people haven't just said one day, okay, I'm going to practice witchcraft, and the next day all of these things just popped into existence. They didn't just, some of them, people who have a massive bank accounts and can pay for all of these things straight out, but the majority of us can't. So you're looking at all of these things and you get the idea that you can't do this spell or you can't practice without these things. And it's getting away from what witchcraft is. Witchcraft is a craft. Witches bend and shape reality. So the need for a lot of these tools is just that. It's a tool. I've said before, the most important tool that you need to practice witchcraft is yourself. And I know it sounds trite, and I know it sounds kind of like, oh, everyone says that, but it's true. The most important tool that you need is yourself. You are the tool that needs to be honed and shaped and carved and used on a daily basis so that your craft is spot on. It isn't the shiny athame. It isn't the sexy new selenite wand or whatever it is that people are showing these days. It isn't those things. Those things are, think of it as a stepping stone between yourself and the magic. It is used as a tool. It's used as a focusing tool. And when you're starting, focusing tools are good, but you shouldn't get caught up or wrapped up in things. Witchcraft isn't about things. It's about magic. It's about the craft and crafting those tools yourself and using what's around you. And I've watched a couple of videos, and I think a few of them have had the question of, if you were stranded on a desert island, and what things would you take with you? What would you need to take with you? Which is a great question, because it has a bit of an insight as to what type of person you are. But the thing is, if you were stranded on a desert island and the only thing that you had was the clothes on your back and yourself, does that mean that you are unable to practice witchcraft because you don't have your athame, or you don't have your cauldron or your pentacle, or that special crystal wand that you've had your eye on? Does that mean that you're not a witch anymore? You cannot practice witchcraft because you don't have those things? No, it's not true. And when you get caught up in using those things and relying on those things to the point where you literally cannot practice witchcraft without them, then you've put yourself in a box. You've put yourself into you've put limits on your craft, on your magic, and what you can and can't do because, or I can't do this because I don't have that. So if you were stranded on a desert island, what would you use? You would use what was around you. You would use the stones. You would use the leaves, the branches. You would use the sand itself, feathers of any animals. You even use the bones of certain animals that had power and meant certain things to you. You would use what was around you. You would bend and shape the things around you for bending and shaping reality. And that is one of the essences of witchcraft. It is being able to do that, going into a space and using what you have around you. And we get a little bit jealous of looking at people's pretty altars and seeing all of these things and thinking that it makes them more legitimate because they have these pretty baubles. But some of the most powerful witches that you would ever find can pick up a stone and throw the most heinous curse, or can pick up a leaf and set it on a river and bless a whole town. So it doesn't mean that you have to have these things. Yes, they are good for focusing, but you need to remember not to get blinded by these focusing tools to the point where it's the tool that has the magic. Yes, the more you use something, the more magic it has, but who gave the magic to that tool? You can have two knives. One knife, they look exactly the same. One knife, though, you have decided that this is the knife that you're going to use for magic. This is your athame, and you have spent time with your knife. You are able to. You've carved certain runes or certain symbols into that knife. You have used that knife and put energy into that knife. Now that knife, looking at it, is a mundane looking knife. It could be a kitchen knife. It could be a knife that you've gotten from like an army supply store or something like that. But because you have put energy into it, you have now made it sacred. You have now made it a sacred object. And that's the thing, taking mundane objects, taking objects that are very easy for you to get and making them sacred by putting that energy into them. That's the magic, that's the thing. Buying something off the internet, buying an athame off the internet or a pentacle or whatever it is, doesn't inherently make that object sacred. It makes it look pretty, and on the surface it may be, you may go, oh, look at that, it's a sacred object, but it's not inherently sacred, and it is the energy that you put into it. So don't get caught in the trappings of witchcraft. Don't get caught in the oh, I must have this object, I must have this pretty athame or whatever it is, in order for you to be able to do a spell or to work magic. You can use what is around you, and that is what the witches of old did. They used what it was around them. They substituted objects for things if they were working off a pre-designed spell. They would substitute and they would work with the energy of that object. So if you don't have this certain herb, then you find out what the energy of that herb is, you find out what the properties of that herb is, and then you find what you have around you and substitute it. That is what we do. We bend and we shape and we mold and we create things. Limiting yourself because you don't have a certain object just limits your craft, and that's not a good thing. So I hope you kind of understand what it is. You use your tools as a focusing tool. Don't think the tools are the magic, because you are the magic behind the tools. And without you, those tools would not have any magical properties at all. So take your time, check things out, use what's around you. The universe, the goddess and god, deity, whatever you see that divine spark as, are giving you tools every single day. You just have to stop chattering to yourself and thinking about, oh, this, I must do this because this person has this, and look at what is being provided to you. Some of the most potent tools are probably staring you right in the face. So just take your time and feel that energy that's around you, and you will find those tools. When the time is right, those tools will find you. So yeah, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be you.
If you like this video and want to see more, please click on the links provided. If you think this witchcraft thing may be for you, please subscribe. Blessed be.